A bunch of top-tier players are either sidelined or could take a step back, leaving spots to be filled in the 2020 All-Star Game, so you're about to see why the players highlighted tonight have a great chance to solidify themselves as stars. Less than a week into the season, tonight I'm predicting every first-time All-Star in 2020. Quick shout out to Swish Gang, who was surprised about Lowry not being in the top 5 in charges last year, but gives Lopez's shots contested as his most shocking stat. The question for next video shout out is right after these All-Star predictions. The former All-Stars that could be blasphemously left off to make these first-time All-Star appearances happen. In the Western Conference are LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Paul due to their age, Draymond Green, whose big-time offensive drop-off kept him out of the All-Star game last year. That could change, but the Warriors' expected lack of wins are enough to leave him off. Kristaps Porzingis is a former All-Star left off in 2020. I'm really hoping he can stay healthy, and despite him looking impressive early on, his consistent lower body injury history from the 2017-18 season eventually resulting in an ACL tear make me skeptical about Kristaps' health. Out of those aforementioned All-Stars in the West last February, only one of them in LaMarcus Aldridge was on the 2019 All-Star team. Add Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant's ACL tear, that'll keep them out all of 2019-20. Minus Kawhi's move to the West, that leaves 2 spots in the Western Conference. The first 2 players mentioned have the best chance, in my opinion, to take those 2 spots and make their first All-Star team. The third player is a threat to take another former All-Star spot or be an injury replacement. All 3 have a tremendous shot, though, with how I expect them to produce this year. Filling the All-Star backcourt reserve spot in 2020, I'm predicting will be Luka Doncic, who came out to prove in the Mavericks opener that he's going to torment defenders all season long. Mavs coach Rick Carlisle intelligently played him at least 23 minutes every game in the preseason, where Luka made 13 threes, and that carried over to a smooth, easy-looking 34 points on 12 of 19 shooting in Dallas's opener. Then he followed that up with a dominant triple-double against the Pelicans. Everything's looking easy for Doncic off the dribble. This is solid defense from Thomas Bryant, who's got a 7'6" wingspan, but he gets hit with not one, but 2 nasty hesitation dribbles, throwing him completely off balance. Luka's mix of speed, size, ball handling, and shooting look nothing less than superstar-like in these past 2 games, and you should expect advanced dribble moves like this that embarrass defenders all season long. Despite being 20 years old in his second NBA season, Doncic spent 4 years in the closest talent-wise to the NBA Pro League in the world. These aren't moves that a sophomore coming off a rookie season developed after a summer. Luka's game's been tested at a high level for over half a decade now, and he's ready to put it all together in big-time fashion in 2019-20. Expect around 25 points per night this season with Luka's blatantly vamped creating ability. Doncic is nowhere close to his athletic peak in terms of physicality, yet his young legs allow for his leaping ability to dominate. A lot's in store for Dallas, and I think Porzingis coming back this year to take scoring pressure off him is going to really help Luka, and he's going to go off and make his first All-Star team. One of the Western Conference's wildcard reserves will be Donovan Mitchell. He's kicked off his season by picking up right where he left off last regular season. Post-All-Star break 2019, D-Mitch averaged nearly 27 points on 46% from the field and an astoundingly efficient 45% from deep. What stood out to me in Utah's opener this season, though, was how Devin controlled the game with his pace. Players say that 1 or 2 years of NBA experience is damn beneficial for their production. Mitchell's passing, knowingness of when to attack and when to pull it out for a 12 to 15 footer are all signs the game is slowing down for him and he has a lot more awareness on the floor. It's 3 games, but he shot nearly 60% from the field, and last game really impressed me because he only took 9 shots. He was shut down for the majority of the game, but he hit 6 of those shots and he didn't force it, and despite only scoring 15 points, he shot very efficiently and contributed to a blowout win. Like the All-Star he is, Donovan closed it out with cold-blooded shots down the stretch for the Jazz to beat OKC in their season opener. Utah's looking like a team that's going to be an extremely high seed in the West. The effect of Conley's pressure relief from D-Mitch is already evident. That plus Utah's success also bode well for his 2020 All-Star chances. Mitchell's slashing looks by far the most creative it's ever been, whether it's off-balance contested layups, spin moves, or runners. His speed and athleticism makes him a nightmare to adequately contest at the basket. Before the last first-time Western Conference All-Star, the potential snubs in terms of players looking to make their first All-Star appearance in 2020 are De'Aaron Fox, CJ McCollum, Rudy Gobert, and Jamal Murray. An incredibly impressive Suns start and averages of 23 points and 8 assists give Devin Booker my 2020 Western Conference All-Star wildcard spot prediction. Rubio's been without a doubt the most underrated pickup of the 2019 offseason. He and Booker's playmaking are proving to be a special combination. They're lighting up the basketball hype in Phoenix despite former #1 pick DeAndre Ayton's historically long drug suspension. However, let's focus on the astounding development in Devin Booker's playmaking, going from a primary scorer in his rookie season averaging only 2.5 assists per game to annually increasing that total to where it is now, 8.3 dimes per night. I know Phoenix is 2 games in, but based off Devin's past progression in assists, 8 seems like a reasonable amount per game considering the already proven elite bucket getter that he is. But finally, for Devin and Suns fans, it seems like this man finally has a stable and respectable roster around him. I mentioned Rubio, but Booker's getting a shocking 20 points of production from Kelly Oubre in their first 3 games. Most notably, he scored 20 against the LA Clippers, and that win sent shockwaves through the NBA. Like, who expected that early in the season? This young Suns team is dynamic. They are strong. They can score the basketball. Really, Phoenix has solid scores 1 through 12 this year. If Phoenix keeps winning, Devin's a shoo-in for his first All-Star position, something hoop fans in Phoenix have been expecting for years. We move to the Eastern Conference, where the former All-Stars left out will be the aging and now somewhat overlooked on a deep Philly team, Al Horford. Then there's Kyle Lowry, who will deal with a rising Van Vliet and, like Horford, father time. Nikola Vucevic, who I don't think makes his second All-Star team and gets his spot taken. Having said that, Lowry and Vucevic made the 2019 All-Star team. Oladipo did as well, whose knee injury will likely keep him out of contention for the game, leaving 3 likely East All-Star positions available. In those players' vacancies, these players will become first-time All-Stars in the East. The All-Star backcourt reserve in 2020 is Trey Young. Before we get to his dagger, it was 38 points Trey recorded in the Hawks season opener in a hard-fought, impressive Atlanta road victory, and if he keeps having performances like that one and last night's 39-point outing, and the Hawks are racking up wins, who knows, Trey could become an All-Star starter. One of Young's triples in Detroit's home opener was from the Pistons logo, and Trey became the first player in NBA history last year to hit 20 or more three-pointers from 30 feet or more. With that range, Trey's capable of taking over any game whenever he wants, especially when you consider he's an elite passer. Young's speed in his feet and shooting release make him overwhelming for defenses. What's even more scary is that watching him this season, he looks 10 times more comfortable and confident than in his rookie year. Also, few players have the drive for star status like Trey. From asking questions and being mentored by Vince Carter to his proven clutch play, which was signified by this cold-blooded bank shot. A step-back dagger in the face of Markelle Fultz to put the Hawks at 2-0 in the 2019-20 season. There's nothing more that Young wants than to become an All-Star, well, maybe a playoff appearance. Point is, this man knows he's Atlanta's franchise player, and more importantly, he embraces that. Trey obviously won't average 38 for the entire season, but he's incredibly tough to game plan for in his second season, and he's only becoming more beastly. The front court reserve in the East will be Pascal Siakam. Early on in 2019-20, Spicy P's offensive repertoire looks incredibly vamped and just that much more intimidating for opposing bigs. The last foreign-born most improved player since Giannis, Pascal's brought to the table a clearly improved Kawhi-like three-pointer this year. Off the dribble threes specifically are new to Siakam's game, and all around from distance, he looks like a completely different player. And this long-range aspect to Spicy P's game should scare the rest of the conference, simply because Siakam doesn't even need the shot to be successful. He's made back-to-back 30-point games look easy, which is mostly attributed to his guard-like ball handling in now his 4th NBA season. The 25-year-old's also added strength, and become even more of a physical specimen than he was when he averaged 20 in the finals. The overrated chants he got in Brooklyn during the preseason were completely backwards. Siakam's about to make his first East All-Star squad and leave zero questions in the fans and media's minds as to why he made it. And before my last first-time All-Star, these are the East first-timer snubs. I wish there were more spots on the All-Star team for these guys, but Jason Tatum, John Collins, Miles Turner, Aaron Gordon, and Tobias Harris missed the All-Star cut, in my opinion. The wild card reserve in the East will be Zach LaVine. After 3 preseason games with his percentages at over 60% from the field, LaVine led off his 2019-20 campaign with an underwhelming 17 points. He missed some easy shots that would have ultimately put the Bulls over the top in a game they went on to lose by a single point. Then it was typical LaVine dominance against the young Grizzlies in Game 2 of the regular season. But here's my reasoning for Zach LaVine's chances to build off his career-high 23.7 points per game in 18-19 and make the 2020 All-Star game. His generational athleticism has always been what his play revolves around. Combine that with the level Zach's IQ and ball handling's grown into, and defenders are forced to sag off to defend his explosive slashing. With 5 NBA seasons under his belt, there's more fluidity and seemingly effortlessness in LaVine when he rises up for deep jumpers, however, and the man's form is looking significantly more consistent, and Zach's reputation among defenses is therefore changing. Now defenders are pressing up, which opens up everything for not only his beastly scoring self, but the young Bulls offense in general. If you're new and enjoyed, hit subscribe for more lists, stories, and predictions. Get your shoutout question answers in. Community Speaks is winding down, but this was D-Flow. Thanks to the world for watching. I'll see you next video.